Okay. Boy, we've got everybody joining here. All right, coming to the top of your mat. And let's really work on grounding our feet today. So what I want you to do is to find the balance between the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot, and to take your toes and spread them out as wide as you can get them. And it might take a little bit of balancing to see if you can really find that place that balances equally between your right and your left. And just try and get as much surface of your foot to the earth as you can. And with our feet rooted to the ground, imagine inhaling energy from the earth up through your body, clear to the crown of your head, and exhaling it all the way down to your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your legs, and then inhaling it again up from the earth to the crown of your head, and exhaling as you push that energy back down. You can even imagine this energy as a bright light coming into your body, helping you to become centered and prepared for your practice today. What I'd like you to do for just a moment is create an intention for your practice. How do you want to show up today? What are the things you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on relaxation, strengthening, posture, connecting your mind, your soul, your body, possibly even being able to clear your mind and just really be present with your body? Okay, taking your right hand to your chest and your left hand to your belly, we're going to work on some belly breathing and some middle lung breathing and some upper lung breathing. So with your hand on your belly, begin to inhale deeply through your nose, really expanding out your belly as you inhale, seeing if you can get as much air and expansion in your belly as possible. And then feel your belly contracting as you push that oxygen back out through your lungs and out your nose. And bring it back in. Really take some work to expand your belly when you're doing this breath. Calming and settling yourself into your practice. Now focus on the space between your right hand and your left hand, so the middle of your chest, right where your rib cage meets, your sternum. Really push that area out as you're inhaling. And you can imagine your rib cages expanding. Each rib expanding and contracting. And again, making sure that you're finding your balance between your right and your left foot. And your eyes are closed. Just really feeling what your body's doing as it's breathing. And let's move that breath up to our right hand, up to the top of our chest. See if we can really feel that space. You might feel the back start to expand. Shoulders widen. We'll take 2 more breaths in the upper lung. You might feel more blood or more oxygen coming into your brain. And with our next inhale, let's inhale and breathe that entire chest cavity clear from the belly to the clavicle. Expanding it, imagining each organ, getting all of this extra oxygen. And on the exhale, using the breath to squeeze in. Expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. Okay, one more breath here. Check back into your intention for your practice today, and possibly an intention for your day. And on this inhale, we'll add the arms and bring them all the way up. So inhaling, bringing them up. And again, we're creating strength in our arms. Really pulling that energy up around our body. And then with strong arms, pushing it down, back around our body. So really trying to create an energy circulation around our body here and strengthening our arms. Starting to loosen up the arms, the shoulders, warming up the legs with a slight bend. Feeling that entire chest cavity on the inhale. One more time up, and then we'll pause at the top with our fingers laced together, palms facing the ceiling, and let's pull out of the shoulder joints, pushing those palms towards the ceiling, checking into neutral posture, trying to lift that spine, make our torso taller, reaching up. And then on the exhale, coming to a forward fold, hinging from the hip with a flat spine. Coming down slowly. We're just starting to get things warmed up and moving. And feel what your body's doing as it's starting to release into this pose. I don't know what you did before you got to your mat this morning, but my body has not moved very much. So I'm just gently trying to create an awareness and awakening in my body. Okay, let's squat and then inhale all the way up again. Pressing our palms to the ceiling. This time, reaching to the left side, opening up the right side of the rib cage, pulling clear into that hip, to the right hip joint, squeezing, tightening, flexing the abdominal wall on the left side. Breathing, releasing. This time we'll lean to the right, really pressing those palms away from the body, pulling out through the shoulder joint, stretching clear into that left hip. And again, breathing, and you'll be able to feel more stretching as you feel your lungs. Back to the top. And exhale to forward fold. Might find yourself coming into your forward fold a little bit farther. This time we'll focus on our sitting bones, pushing them straight up to the ceiling, pulling our hips away from our heels. Trying to strengthen our legs, create flexibility, pressing those knees back, keeping them straight, and coming back down to a squat. Inhaling to standing. This time our palms will face each other and we'll reach up and we'll start going into our sun salutations. So we're squeezing our glutes, extending the spine tall, reaching back, and then exhaling to a forward fold, flexing at the hip with a flat spine. Again, you'll notice you're a little bit farther into your forward fold, lifting up those sitting bones, and then coming up to a half lift. Check to see if your spine is flat. You're pressing out with your head, separating your shoulders from your ears, pressing the crown of your head to the wall in front of you, pushing into your shins, and you should feel some strengthening going on in the back of your upper arms. Back to a forward fold, squat, Inhale all the way up, and then come down to our chair pose. So our knees stay behind our toes. Our arms are reaching up and forward. And we're really engaging the glutes here. Weight balanced more on the heels, and we can start adding a slight bounce. So we're really warming up those quads, our thighs. Okay, let's take a couple more breaths here, and we'll inhale to standing. Inhale to standing. Forward fold. Lifting those sitting bones up. Coming up to a half lift. A forward fold. And then coming to a squat. And then coming up to our chair. And again, adding a slight pulsing movement in our chair, really warming up our glutes, our thighs, our legs. You'll notice your heart starting to beat a little faster. And let's step that right leg back to a lunge. And we'll do chair to lunge. And then come back to chair and squat. And we'll step our left leg back to lunge. Back to chair. Lunge. Back to chair. Lunge left. Back to chair. Lunge right. Bodies are warming up. Back to chair. Lunge left. Back to chair. Lunge or chair. Lunge right. This time in the lunge, let's really reach up. Really push our hips forward. Drop that right heel back. Just feel the strengthening here. Okay, coming back to chair. Chair is a little rest in this move. And then we'll lunge left. Really working on getting that left heel back, reaching up, pushing our hips forward. Back to chair. Inhaling up, reaching up, palms facing each other, extending back, forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold, and let's lunge back with the right leg. So our right knee is up. We're in a high lunge, just trying to lower those hips, press that heel down, dropping the knee. And now let's really create space between both of our knees. Pressing our pelvis closer to the mat, pushing that left knee forward. Okay, let's come up, hands on the knee, lifting that torso tall, and then reaching back to grab our heel, pulling that heel closer, stretching out our quad. And you really want to work on keeping this torso tall, straight, extended here. Okay, both of our arms come to the inside of our knee. And we'll come down to forearm, into lizard. Checking into your breathing. It's a good time to keep your eyes closed. You can dip that chin into your chest. Feel a little more stretching on the front of that hip. And release it. Coming back up. And we'll bring our left leg back to meet the right leg. and come to plank. Okay, in our plank pose, we've got several modifications we can do. We can stay in a standard plank, keeping our hips low, our body in a straight line. We can have our knees to the mat. We can be on our fists if our wrists have a hard time holding us up, or we can be down on forearms, okay? So we've been in this plank long enough. Let's drop our knees, chest and chin, come between our hands, elbows tucked in, and let's slide ourselves forward into cobra. The laces side of our feet are down, and we're slowly lifting, really working on strengthening those arms to a straight arm, raising the chin, and then rotate the hips up to down dog. And down dog is your rest. So find what your body wants to do in down dog here. Really lifting up those sitting bones. You can pedal your feet back and forth. Open up from side to side. Press your head between your shoulders. And then let's bring that right foot in between our hands. And then we're back into this lunge, and we'll work through this lunge a little bit. So in this higher lunge with our left knee off the ground, let's try and push our pelvis closer to the mat and pull that heel, the left heel back, really stretching. And then we can drop the left knee. And now let's focus on creating space between the right knee and the left knee. And we can come up with our hands on our knee, extending our torso, reaching back to grab that foot and pull our foot close to our behind. Okay, let's release it. And both of our arms come to the inside of our right knee, and we'll come down to lizard. So we'll create more space between those knees and come more fully into this lunge. Dipping that chin into the chest, and you'll be able to feel more stretch in the front of your left hip. It's your fascia that's connecting all of the tissues in your body together, so you can dip a chin and feel it in your thigh, because they're all connected. Okay, let's release it. And let's bring our left foot between our hands. And then we're back to forward fold. Now notice how much farther you're coming into your forward fold. Let's work on lifting our sitting bones up. Coming to a half lift, really strengthening into the arms as we press into the shins, keeping those elbows tucked close to our body, extending our head, the crown of our head forward, pressing, strengthening, back to a forward fold, and then inhaling up. And on these, I will be doing a squat to inhale up, and you are welcome to just pendulum hinge from the hip coming up. So we're back to a standing position, and we're ready to start another round of sun salutations. So our palms are facing each other, reaching up, squeezing the glutes, coming forward to a forward fold, a half lift, a forward fold. And let's take our left foot back and our right foot back and come to our plank. Or your modified plank, find the position that's working for you. And we're going to do side plank, and your side plank may have your knee down and you're opening up to the side, or you may stay in your plank form, open up to the side. Okay, let's get ready to do this. So lower our hips, keep our body in a straight line, rotating, opening to the left side, balancing on the right arm and our feet, and our hand comes up. And if we're ready, we can gaze up to that left hand, reaching up to the ceiling. Holding your core engaged, tight, that navel's pulled in, and release it. Back to your plank. Now your knees, chest and chin. Slowly, slowly lifting to cobra, strengthening the arms and the back to straight arm. And then we're raising our hips. And our left leg comes forward. Our right leg comes forward. Back to forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Inhaling all the way up. And we'll work on the side plank on the other side this round. Okay, reaching up, extending back. Forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. I'm so forgetting which legs come back. Let's do our left leg back first this time. Hopefully I'll be able to get my brain back on the mat eventually, back to a plank. And now let's open up to our side plank. Rolling to the side. Lifting. When you're ready, you can gaze up to that hand. Really keep your core engaged here. Back to our plank. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra to up dog. And extend all the way up. Flowing through, lifting the hips. Right leg steps between our hands. Left leg steps between. Forward fold to a half lift. Forward fold. Inhale all the way up to standing. Palms facing each other. Reaching up. Extending back. Forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Okay, we're going to do some leg lifts here, but before we do that, I want to do a little more stretching. So let's slide our palms under the soles of our feet, creating kind of a lock between our feet and our hands, and then lifting up like we do in our cat and cow, really pulling that spine up, stretching, opening up that space between our shoulders. Okay, let's release it. And we'll lift our right leg. So let's try and line our fingers up with our toes if you're able, or you may have your hands out a little farther. Really want to try and keep those legs straight, but you might have a slight bend as you work towards getting those legs straight. So let's take our right foot with our toes lined up as closely as possible, and we're going to lift that right foot and push our knee up to the ceiling as high as we can get it. Balancing weight between our hands and our left foot, pushing that knee up, squeezing the glute, engaging the core, breathing. One more breath here, push it up a little higher and release it back. Let's do a little half lift to release some pressure here. Come back to a forward fold, and let's lift our left foot. So the left foot comes up, pushing that foot straight up to the ceiling, and the knee follows, pushing the knee straight up. Want to make sure that you're keeping that knee in alignment with your hips, and our weight is balanced between our hands and our foot. Breathing, balancing, strengthening. Push it up just a little bit higher for this last breath, and then bring it back. Good job. Okay, right foot comes back to lunge. And on this lunge, let's bring our left knee between our hands and we'll do pigeon. So left knee comes between both hands and we're lowering that right leg back, and the laces side of our right foot slide farther back, keeping our hips parallel to the floor, making sure that they're level. And you can bring your chest open here, lifting a chin. keeping the elbows tucked in. And then when you're ready, you can bring your chest over across this knee. And then find complete relaxation in your pigeon pose. Working on keeping those hips parallel. One more breath. Okay, coming back up. Let's take that left foot back to plank. And we'll hold our plank for a moment. And again, you're in modified plank or on your fists or your forearms. Then your knees, chest and chin. Slowly, slowly with strength up to cobra. And then continue to strengthen and straighten the arms to up dog, raising the chin, lifting the hips, rotating and flowing through. And our right foot comes forward. And then we're back in this lunge. So let's take our right knee this time in between our hands, and we'll do pigeon on the right foot. The left foot slides back. The laces side of the left foot come to the mat, keeping our hips level, really pressing them into the mat. And we can raise our chest and our chin, opening up, really trying to keep those hips level. Taking a few breaths here. And then folding our chest over our knee. You can bring your forehead to the mat. See how relaxed you can become in this pose. Okay, lifting up, coming back to our plank and into down dog. And let's bring our right foot forward and our left foot forward to forward fold, half lift, forward fold, inhaling all the way up, reaching up, extending back, forward fold. To a half lift, a forward fold. The left leg comes back. The right leg comes back. And we're in plank. Okay, let's stay in plank so you can find a modified plank. And it might be, if this is new to you, it might be really great to keep yourself down into a forearm plank because we're going to do some leg lifts here. So let's take our left leg, lifting it, really engaging the core. And if you need to, go ahead and drop that knee to do the leg lift here to support yourself a little bit farther. Okay, release it. This time we'll lift our right leg, pulling that core in, that navel comes into your spine, releasing it, and then coming to knees and back to chest and chin, sliding up to cobra. Coming all the way up, rotating as we lift those hips. And down dog here for a little rest, a little relaxation. And then bring our left foot between our hands, our right foot between our hands, forward fold, half lift, forward fold, inhaling all the way up, reaching up, extending back, forward fold, to a half lift, a forward fold, and our right foot comes back. And our left foot comes back into our plank, knees, chest and chin, cobra. We're going to do these as slow as molasses to up dog, coming back to down dog, stretching out, plank, knees, Again, slow to cobra. Really tucking those elbows tight, lace the side of our feet are down. Slowly, really strengthening our upper body. Lifting our hips to down dog. Back to plank. Knees, chest and chin. Slowly, slowly, slowly up to cobra. Up to up dog. Straight arms. Lifting the hips. Should start feeling some real intense muscle work here. Plank. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra. Tucking those elbows in, slowly, slowly, slowly lifting to up dog. Flowing through our hips. Plank. Let's try 3 more. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra. To up dog. Lifting our hips to down dog. 2 more. Let's really, really make these count. Plank, knees, chest and chin. Lorene, these are some of the moves that really, really strengthen your arms and upper body. So you can get ready to do your headstand. 1 more. This is going to be really, really slow. So plank, knees, chest and chin. Cobra. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Straightening the arms to up dog. Lifting your hips to down dog. Good job. Bringing that right foot between your feet. The left foot. Forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Squat. Inhale up. And we'll do 1 more slowly on the left side. Reaching up. Extending back. Forward fold. Half lift. Forward fold. Left leg comes back. Right leg comes back. And your arms should feel really worked. Knees, chest and chin. And we're going to pause at chest and chin. Trying to find balance between our chin and our chest. Tucking the elbow into our side. Really lifting those hips up into the air. And we'll lift this left leg up. Trying to push that knee up high as we can get it. Keeping our hips level. Another breath here. And release it. Coming back to chest and chin. And our right leg comes up. Release it. Okay, let's see if we can come up to cobra. Here we go. Lifting up to cobra. Lace the side of our feet are down. To up dog. Really lifting the hips. To down dog. We'll pause in down dog for a minute and just stretch yourself out. You might feel a lot of tension that's built in your low back. Just move around, stretch. Okay, and that left foot comes between your hands. The right foot between your hands. Forward fold. Really lift those sitting bones up. Taking some good breaths while we're in this forward fold. To a half lift, a forward fold, and we'll inhale all the way up to standing, and our hands come back to heart center. Taking some breaths to settle ourselves down again. Slowing our heart rate down. Reminding ourselves of our intention for our practice, our intention for our day. And taking note of how our body feels right now, how our mind feels, our soul. Okay, hands released. Grab a drink of water real quick and we'll do a couple of standing balance poses before we go to the mat. Okay, I think we'll just do basic tree pose here. You still need to take some deep breaths. It's a good thing. Okay, rooting that left foot into the mat, spreading those toes out to create a real wide base. And I just want you to practice a little bit first here, just opening up that hip and feeling what that feels like before we lift the foot. We really want to just open it, squeezing that glute in, pressing our pelvis forward. Okay, and you have options here where you want to place the foot. You can keep the toes on the mat, your foot close to your ankle. You can lift your toes off the mat, foot to ankle, or foot to calf, bypassing the knee. We never want our foot to our knee. And then our other option is to bring it up into our perineum and then hold ourselves that way. So you decide where you want to stay. We'll do one on the right side, one on the left side, and then we'll do one more standing pose. Okay, spreading that foot out, deciding where you want to go. You want to find a point of concentration on the floor about 6 to 8 feet in front of you, and then bring your foot to the place that you're going to have it, settling yourselves in, opening up the hips, squeezing the glutes in, the spine is extended, bringing the hands to prayer position. And you can stay here, or you can inhale with your hands slightly, gently touching, almost like you can hold a feather between them without squishing it. Bringing your arms all the way up, straightening them, pulling your ears away from your shoulder, really extending the neck. Breathing. And if you're real good at this, you can try closing your eyes. Take one more good breath here. And then we can release. Okay, good job. Okay, left leg. One thing that's really important to know about these standing balance poses, as we get older, you'll notice that your balance is not what it was when you were a kid. And we're actually creating neural pathways in our brain as we're doing these balance poses. And you can keep building neural pathways. So we want to keep doing these balance poses and keeping our brains thinking and keeping us young and really working on balance, trying to fight the aging process. Okay, lift your foot to the position you've decided. Extending the spine tall, pushing that pelvis forward. Hands come to prayer position. Inhaling as we press up and reach up. And again, we're pulling our ears away from our shoulder. Our palms are lightly, gently touching each other. Strong, steady, stable, balanced. Take one more breath here. And release it. Okay, shake your legs out. And we'll do, let's do our leg extended out in front of us. So again, we're going to, let's see, we'll root the left leg into the mat, or let's root the right leg into the mat. Okay, and taking our peace fingers, I don't know if you can see that, peace fingers, and we're going to wrap them around our toe, our big toe. You can have your hands on your hip. We want to extend this leg out. This is a great one that you can do with the hand gently touching the wall. If this is new to you and creating this balance is new to you. So with your leg extended straight out, really just creating length in your spine, tall torso. And you may have that knee in front of you bent, depending on where your practice is. And let's take one more breath before we release it. Okay, you can come back to the other side of the wall if you want, if you need a little support, or sometimes just having that wall close gives you a little more confidence in being able to hold your balance with this. Okay, again, our peace fingers are going to wrap around our big toe. Maybe before we do that, let's focus on that left foot and make sure we've got it steady and stable. Torso is tall, extended, reaching down to grab that big toe, creating a lock between your peace fingers and your big toe, and extending it forward. Really trying to breathe. And it's so amazing that your brain is doing all of this work in your body. You're not even having to think about what you're doing. It's just an automatic response. One more breath. Okay, let's release it. Okay, coming down to the mat in tabletop. Wrists are under our shoulders, knees under the hip, and we'll come into some cat-cow, really loosening up the spine with all of this standing work that we've been doing. You might feel some compaction and some tension in your spine. Pulling up, separating your shoulder blades. Let's really focus on tucking that chin in while we're up in this cow pose, or the cat, I'm sorry. And inhaling a big, deep inhale as we open up, lowering our mid back. We don't want to dump into the low back on this one. The movement is coming from the mid to upper back. Really trying to stabilize our low spine. Exhaling as we close in. Inhaling as we open up. Exhaling as we close. Inhaling as we open up. Okay, create a bowl with your heels. And we're going to lower our hips into that space, reaching out in front of us. Again, doing more stretching in the spine. This should feel just so good. Breathing. Trying to lower those hips a little bit farther. And if you have knee troubles, you don't cause yourself pressure. You can separate your knees a little bit farther to help you get into this pose a little bit more. And then let's drop our forehead to the mat and bring our palms up to the sides of our hips and come into our baby pose. Really trying to sink those hips lower into the heels. I'm working with a knee that doesn't cooperate sometimes, and so getting myself lower into this just doesn't work. So I find the place that works for me and become completely relaxed here. Okay, let's release it. Coming around to a seated pose. And we'll loosen up into our hips a little bit. So let's bring our shin closer to our chest and we'll rock the baby. Before we do that, we want to keep our torso tall, our sitting bones rooted into the mat. So you might want to move some of that flesh out from side to side. And let's pull that foot up and in. And as much as possible, trying to get that foot into the crook of the elbow. And if that's not possible, you can just hold that foot with your hand and then bring the other arm around. But rocking the baby, the shin area is the baby, the foot is the head. So we're going to just really give that baby some good, gentle rocking here to begin with as we open up and stretch and warm up that right hip joint. Just with gentle movements at first. Taking note to keep that baby's head lifted, elevated, and keeping that baby close to our body. And you'll notice that your body just starts to give a little bit and relax and release the more you rock. And as that hip joint allows you to, just start bringing in a little bit more of a stronger rocking movement, a little bit more vigorous. And in any of these poses, any of these movements, we never work to the point of pain. We can work to the point of discomfort, or what I like to call the work. So a lot of the stuff is not comfortable, and the mental work that we do helps us to train our body to find ease in a real tension pose or a real tight pose. So let's just do this a few more times, keeping that baby's head elevated, keeping that baby tucked in close, and then bringing our foot to our thigh and pressing down. Lifting up, squeezing that knee close to our chest. Remember, our torso is strong, tall, spine is extended. And then just slide that foot over to the floor. And let's all just do it this way today. So our fingers come to the chin, our thumbs to our chest, and we're going to twist outward to the right side, keeping our chest and chin aligned. So you can start to bring that twist in, and you'll notice how much more you're feeling that in your middle back, your upper back, and it really supports the low spine. Pushing that right shoulder back, bringing that left shoulder forward, keeping that chest and chin aligned. Okay, release it. Okay, bringing that foot in closer to the perineum. We'll come into a forward fold. Extending the spine. Our seating bones are rooted to the mat. Inhaling, lifting our arms. And we'll hinge from the hip with a flat spine, folding over our knee, trying to align the middle of our chest over the knee. And then pay attention to your shoulders. Your right shoulder always wants to lift in this, and we really want to work on lowering that left or that right shoulder so that it's parallel and level to the left shoulder. And again, our aim is to get that chest right over the center of our knee. And if you're interested, or if it's in your practice, you feel like you can, try bringing that chin closer to your chest, bringing a new stretching sensation to the back of your leg. Long, deep, steady breaths. Okay, release it. Coming up out of the pose. And then extending your legs, and we'll work on our left side. Squaring our sitting bones, bringing our shin close to our chest, pulling our right foot in, bringing our left foot to the crook of our right elbow, and wrapping that left arm around our left knee, bringing that baby in closer to us. Again, you may have your hand to your foot and your leg may be out. This may be the extent of your rocking the baby, which is perfectly fine. So find the area that's going to be work for you, but not pain. And then slowly just bring some rocking side to side movement into that hip joint. It's a good time to keep your eyes closed and really, really feel what your body is feeling. Keeping that torso tall and extended. And starting to make that rocking a little more vigorous, a little stronger. as that hip joint loosens up and opens up. Keeping the baby's head lifted, the baby close to your chest. Really rocking it side to side. Our torso is straight, tall. Okay, let's release it. Bringing that foot to our thigh, pressing the left knee down to the mat. Stretching out a different area of the hip, pulling it into the chest, keeping that chest tall, pressing down, pulling it in. Now let's cross it over the knee, extending our spine tall, fingertips to your chin, thumb to the center of your chest. With an inhale, let's twist to the left, really pushing that left shoulder back and pulling your core in, keeping it really tight. One more breath here, and then we can release it. And then we'll come down to our back and work on a couple of bridge poses. But before we do that, let's open up a little bit into the front of our thighs. So wrap your fingers around your ankles, bringing those feet closer to your hips. And you might have to separate your feet a little bit farther to do this. And let's dip our right knee to the mat. And it probably feels real tight here. We're going to gaze over that right shoulder as we dip the right knee. And then just make a special note to breathe relaxation into that tightness. Release. Gazing to the left, dipping the left knee. Really using the breath to allow that tight muscle to stretch and lengthen. Dipping the right knee a little bit farther this time. You should be getting used to stretching, and it'll allow you to open it up a little bit more. Left knee, gaze to the left. Right knee, gaze to the right. Left knee, gaze to the left. Right knee, gaze to the right. Last one, left knee, gaze to the left. Okay, our arms are extended straight down to the side of our hips. Our palms are to the mat, and bring our heels in as close to our fingertips as we can get them. We're going to be lifting our hips up in a series of 3. So this first one, I want to just really work on getting some height in this lift, and then we'll work on arms and legs. So on the inhale, lift your hips up, squeezing your glutes tight, lifting your pelvic floor towards your spine and pulling your navel into the spine, really engaging all of those muscles in the core as you press your hips up. And you'll be able to get a little bit higher if you think about it. Just press them a little bit higher. It's more work. A little bit higher. And then exhale to release. And breathing deeply. Okay, we'll come up again. This time we're going to press our arms and our palms into the mat. Inhale, lifting the hips as high as we can get them. And now let's engage the arms by pressing the palms into the mat, the elbows into the mat, the shoulder into the mat, squeezing the glutes, pulling the pelvic floor up, tucking that navel in tight to the spine. And now check and see if your face is relaxed or if it's full of tension. Try and relax it. Pushing the hips a little higher, pressing down a little harder with the arms. One more breath here. Exhale to release. If you feel like you need to, you can bring those knees into your chest. Release some of that tension. And this time that we come up, you can come up, if wheel pose is in your practice, you're welcome to come into a wheel pose. Otherwise, we're going to press our feet into the mat as we lift our hips. So again, fingertips lined up with heels. Inhaling, pushing our hips up as high as we can get them. And this time we're pressing our feet down as hard as we can, squeezing those glutes, lifting the pelvic floor, tucking that navel tight to the spine, really, really creating tension in that core, and then relaxing the space between your eyes. Really pressing down with your feet. Your toes are engaged, the balls of your feet, the heels of your feet, and push it up a little bit higher. And on the exhale, release. Taking some deep breaths. And bring your knees to your chest for some knee presses. And then arms come out to the side, and then we can just pull those knees to the side. Keeping that right shoulder pressed into the mat. We can gaze over to the right side. Finding complete relaxation in this pose. Release. Same thing on the right side. Pressing the knees to the right side, keeping the knees, the heels, the toes, the ankles together. Crossing it over, keeping that left shoulder to the mat. And gazing over the left hand. Breathing complete relaxation into your body. You should feel just a real amazing sense of accomplishment and fatigue. We've really worked muscles hard today. One more breath and we can release it and bring our legs back down to the mat, straightening them. And then we'll come into Shavasana for our final relaxation. And our final relaxation is just going to be working on the breath. So let's just allow ourselves to begin to really relax and sink into the mat. See how heavy you can make your body feel lying on your mat on the earth. See if you can release each muscle from engaging and just allow yourself to sink farther and farther into the mat. And we'll take one minute in this pose to completely settle ourselves into the position. And then our relaxation will probably just be about, probably less than 5 minutes today. We're just staying in our comfortable Shavasana. And we'll work on extending our exhale. And we want to, with all of our breathing, have our exhale be longer and slower than the inhale, especially during meditation and our relaxation. And also just in your daily life, when you're starting to feel tension and stress, you can focus on that long exhale. The way the body breathes can tell a lot about what you're experiencing. When you're anxious or angry, you may find the breath to be shallow and rapid. When you're resting, the breath slows down and is often deeper. The relationship between the breath, the body, and the mind goes both ways. By breathing more deeply, you're telling the nervous system that you're safe. This exercise engages the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for feelings of safety, relaxation, comfort, and ease. And this is a practice that we can do anytime. Bring breath into your awareness and pay attention to your body as it brings oxygen into your body. And as you push that air back out, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And bringing more awareness to this breath, choose one part of your body where you're feeling the breath the most. It could be in your abdomen, your chest, your throat. And as we start falling into a pattern of breathing, a rhythmic pattern of our breathing, start to count your inhale to the count of 3. So inhaling 1, 2, 3, and exhaling 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, exhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. And just stay focused on this breathing for the next 3 breaths. Okay, now we're going to start working on lengthening that breath, and we'll breathe in for 5 counts and breathe out for 7 counts. So inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhaling 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's continue this 5-7 breathing for the next minute. If the 5 to 7 breathing is where you would like to stay, you can continue to inhaling 5, exhaling 7. And if you'd like to try to continue to lengthen that, let's inhale 7, exhale 9. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll continue that breathing pattern for the next minute. Okay, continuing with your breathing lengthened. Start to bring small movements back into your body, back into your fingers and your toes, arms and legs, reaching and stretching, bringing that movement back into your body. And when you're ready, return to a seated cross-legged position, hands at heart center. And as we're finishing our final relaxation, my challenge for you today is to find 10 times during the day that you can return to the lengthened breath, and be mindful of how many times you do that. And I'd love to hear how many times you check into lengthened breathing during the day. It might be when you're dealing with kids or traffic or work or laundry or errands or the tasks that you do. But engage in that lengthened breathing and see if it helps you be able to manage that tension better. Thank you for joining me. I love having you with me. Namaste. Thank you. I'll keep you posted on Thursday if we have class. I'm not sure what my company's schedule will be, but I'd love to be able to do it. I'll just keep you posted on that. But for sure, no class Saturday or Sunday this week. I'll be out of town. So love you all. Have a great day.